Lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metafoodians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air, every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt, Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metafoodians unite, this is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction. Not pressure, but protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. Metafoodians unite, Metafoodians ignite, sharing love in the metazone, light in the path to a cooler home. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Together we rise, together we inspire.
Welcome to the Planet B podcast, where truth, transformation, and faith converge. Join us as we flip the script on ecological despair, guided by Dr. Sailesh Rao's vision for a compassionate, rewilded vegan world. Let's begin the journey to the greatest transformation in human history.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of the Planet B podcast. Today, we continue our deep dive into the core values transformation. Dr. Rao, we're back again.
Yes, this is, we're setting all the foundations right before we actually do a systems transformation.
This part of the book is so exciting because this is just all about the solution, how we can bring about Planet B into existence. So, if you don't mind, would you like to begin with the opening quote of chapter 20?
Yeah, the opening quote is by Dr. Marie Curie. And she said, "Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood." We have to basically understand life, and we will see the perfection of the system design that's nature. That's the way I interpreted that quote. Don't be scared. You're part of the same perfection.
That's beautiful. So you opened chapter 20 with the statement, to accomplish the greatest transformation in human history, we need to fundamentally transform the core values that drive our civilization. So
Right.
please share more about that.
See, a civilization is built around certain core values. It's not what we say, it's what we do.
Right.
Okay. And what we do in our civilization today is basically deception. If you can outwit someone, you're welcome to do that. And they put limits on what kind of outwitting is okay, what is not okay. If you scam people in some way, then you get thrown in jail. But if you scam people in other ways, they put a statue up for you. So they create all these rules, but fundamentally, if you're clever enough to deceive someone else, to extract resources from them, then you become successful in the system. So deception is a core value in the system on planet A,
Right.
right? So I say that deception has to be transformed to honesty, because deception is used in systems in which it's all about gaining advantage over someone else. Whereas honesty is used in systems where it's all about collaborating to accomplish a common objective.
Right.
And when you have planetary scale problems, we have been called as a species to collaborate to solve those problems. Okay, and the
Yeah.
only way to do that is collaboration, and collaboration is best accomplished in a system that's built on honesty rather than deception. So this is why I question the fundamental game of money. And that will come later in the 28th chapter. But the game of money is what drives people to be deceptive in the current system. Right?
What are some other examples of how deception is kind of a foundation of Planet A?
Think about games we play. The games are all about winning as opposed to collaborative games. So they're all finite games that we play, okay, mostly. And in any game, if you're really good at deceiving, you become lauded in the game. They praise you. So think about a game like baseball. If you're a pitcher in baseball and you throw a curveball when you have the same action as if you're throwing a fastball, you can
Right.
deceive the batter.
Yeah.
And if you can deceive the batter, then you get the most money, right? So you become the best pitcher. So we always constantly elevate those who are able to deceive us well. Like think of some of the most celebrated people in our societies, and you will see it's mostly actors.
Right.
And what are actors? What do they do? They're really good at deceiving. They're really good
So
at
true.
being someone else, right? Not showing a different version of themselves than who they really are. Now, I've spoken to actors, and I asked one of the leading actresses in Bollywood, and she told me every role she plays changes her.
Wow.
By elevating that, we are actually causing a lot of misalignment in people. So the climate heating phase is about competing. It's all about competing and who's better than who, and playing finite games and seeing who are the winners in the game and so on. And where deception is a very important tool for you to get ahead. The climate healing phase is about collaborating to solve the common problems and to restore the life support systems of the planet. And that requires honesty. Because I've run a lot of engineering teams, and engineering teams are all collaborating to accomplish an objective. And within engineering teams, you have to have complete honesty, total trust among team members. One of the first things I tell my team members is that, I expect people to make mistakes. Like if you don't make mistakes, you're not trying hard enough, So I expect people to make mistakes. But things don't work out the way you said they're going to do. Just let us know. Be honest about it. I say I value honesty over anything else. So be open about it and we'll fix it. We'll collectively fix it. And you will never get into trouble for telling me something like that.
Right.
But if I find out you've been hiding things, you get into trouble.
Yeah.
Right? So honesty is very important in a collaborative project. So we have to create a civilization around honesty. If you don't have that core value set, then you will never be able to heal the planet. You'll never be able to collaborate to solve the problem. This is why I think that a system based on competition is incompatible with climate healing.
Yeah. So in chapter 20, you mentioned that in the Planet B climate healing phase, honesty will be prized in the games we play and the responsibilities we fulfill. Can you share how that would be prized in those instances?
Honesty will be prized in the sense that we expect everyone to be honest. So even if that means you're diminishing yourself, right? In the sense that you're admitting to faults, which we all have faults. But everyone tries to pretend. Yeah, you have to have that humility. That's the second step in honesty. And then the next step is humility. I talk about the second value, is humility. So humility and honesty will be valued as opposed to deception being valued, right? So it's a complete shift in mindset that happens when you change the values in the system. And I'm saying honesty is necessary because it's an engineering project that we are doing. When you restore the life support systems of the planet, that's a collaborative project you have to do all together. So that means all of us around the world, regardless of who we are part of this project. So it's an engineering team with 8 billion human beings. And in that team, honesty will be prized. And I say we have to be playing one single infinite game eventually. To get there, you have to be playing games of collaboration as opposed to games of competition. So you have to basically reimagine all games. It is not just a small switch that we're doing here. It's a complete switch in how we establish the foundations of the system.
So what is your vision of what games and responsibilities would look like as a society on Planet B?
Games are a good way to bring people in. But games of competition are all about finding who is the winner. So there's an outcome of the game, in the finite game. And in games of collaboration, it's about accomplishing an overall objective. So every game will be about accomplishing a certain objective, whatever the objective is. And how do you collaborate to make that happen? You're no longer fighting with each other. You're trying to see complementarity in skills.
All right. So it's almost cooperating together to then fulfill this objective. And then if you win the game, you win it together. And if you don't, then you lose it together and you try again.
Right. That's the kind of games we need to be playing. Imagine like a tug of war, but it's not a tug of war. Tug of war is about you're tugging someone else, right? So here it's about how do you lift something up? Those kinds of games we need to be playing. It's all about collaboration. So you're teaching people how to collaborate, how to find each other's strengths and leverage off other people's strengths.
It sounds like an 8 billion person team building. Like we have to become a team once again.
Absolutely. It is. We have to become a family once again. Right. Because, think about it. We were a family way back. We were just a small tribe, right? So 70,000 years ago, just a couple of hundred of us. And we can trace our ancestry back to those original 100 people.
Yeah.
And we trace back 200,000 years. We all had the same mother.
Right.
The mitochondrial Eve. So it's becoming that again, recognizing that we are all one family and we are here to serve the animals. So the second one, the humility. Now we are dominating animals. We think we are here to show our strength and to use our strength to put down and grab things for ourselves. So when Gandhi said it way back in the 1940s, he said, if Indians take up Western civilization, we can pick the planet bare, like something like
Wow.
that, he said.
Yeah.
And that's really what's going on, because Western civilization has spread everywhere. And it's really all about looking for happiness outside. And we have been picking the planet bare. And now it's time to stop and restore. And so that means switching from domination to humility, which is the second value transformation that needs to happen. Domination means that you are stronger, you're superior to other beings, whether it's the basis of skin color or place of origin or gender or species identity. We have this idea that we have to use our advantage, whatever advantage we have been given in nature, to win over another. Okay, so that's the game we are playing. It's all about winning. So in the climate healing phase, you're serving. It's because you're restoring. You have to restore the planet. Whether we like it or not,
Yeah.
we have to do it. Okay. So, so I'm saying nature is telling us, look, this is the only way out. So why don't you just see it, right?
Yeah.
So we have to restore the planet. And to restore the planet, you have to start serving animals, serving others. So bring them back. If someone is hungry, feed them. So it's like you're now going out there and saying, how do I improve things around me? Why? Because I want the whole world to improve, to get better,
Yeah.
to take things that are obviously wrong and turn them into right. People should
Yes.
not go hungry. Okay?
No.
We have plenty of food. There's absolutely no reason why people should be going hungry, except it's a system that's driven by hunger. So you
All
have
right.
to, when you create a system that's hungerless, which is what you have to have if you want collaboration among 8 billion human beings, you can't have people hungry. They're not going to collaborate with you if you do that. So you have to have a hungerless system. And that means serving everyone, serving animals. So even wild animals should have access to food, access to healthy food. Okay. So it's not just about cleaning the water for ourselves or getting healthy food for ourselves and not worrying about what kind of food the animals have. No, you have to make sure that they have healthy food too. So
All right.
that's where the service nature comes in, right?
Yeah.
So that comes from humility, knowing that you're a part of nature and you're here to serve others. It's only when we give more than we take is the planet going to get better.
Dr. Rao, and how do you see humility when we shift away from domination to humility? How will that ultimately lead everyone to being vegan?
Vegan begins by saying we don't want to exploit animals. So that's
Right.
rejecting domination. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Right? So it's rejecting the idea that domination is a valid way of acting in the system. Veganism is a stance of neutrality. It's not about serving yet. Seva is about serving.
Right.
Right? So that's the phase that we need to get to in order to repair the system first. Once you repair and you have restored the planet, then I say, we can figure out a system in which we are equal to all species. But initially, we need to have that humility to go serve the animals and bring them back. You literally have to go beg them to stay because we need them. So that's how we create an upward spiral in our relationship with nature and thereby heal the planet.
That's beautiful. So in chapter 20, you highlight that in the climate healing phase, we will truly be striving for health, happiness, and harmony in our relationships with each other, with the animals, and with nature. Can you share a little bit more about this?
Yeah, because right now, look at our relationship with animals. We deal death to them. Okay, not just to the farmed animals who are being killed because we think we need their bodies for our nutrition. We also So we go around shooting wild animals that encroach our habitats or our crops. Because I mean, the wild animals are saying, "Hey, there's plenty of food there. Why don't I eat that?" But as soon as they come
Yeah.
anywhere near our crops, we kill them, right?
Yeah.
So we deal death to the animals. So that's our relationship with animals. Mostly, it's about dealing death to them, and we deal diseases to each other. We even routinely get our children addicted to sugar so that they
Yep.
become diabetic, they become obese, they become customers for the pharmaceutical industry. So we have allowed that to happen to our children. We have allowed supermarkets to have candy at eye level. We have allowed our governments to say that sugar is an essential food commodity. Oil is an
Bizarre.
essential food commodity.
Yeah.
And it's really bizarre. I think about it, from a health perspective. Why is that an essential food commodity? It's an addictive food commodity, and that is good for addicting people into compulsive behaviors that will increase their consumption and therefore grow the economy and therefore cause diseases to happen within human beings. So, in our relationship to each other, we are encouraging diseases to happen, even to our children. We need to, honestly look at what is going on in the system, and only then can you fix it. Okay? So that I
Right.
say is how we relate to other human beings, dealing diseases, and finally destruction to the planet. So, we don't think twice about raising down forests to create more grazing land for our farmed animals. So it's always the excuse is we need more food, and therefore we have to cut down more forests to create more food. But it's the food not for us directly, it's for the farmed animals, and then we eat the animals. So we are raining death to the animals, diseases for human beings, and destruction to the planet. That's the climate heating. Those are the values that we have in our relationship with each other. When you look at it honestly, I mean, people talk a good game. They talk about health, happiness, and harmony. Everyone talks that way. But you look at the actions. The actions are like that, right? So I'm saying that for in the climate healing phase, the actions have to match the talk. It truly has to be health for human beings and happiness and harmony with nature. So health for animals as well. So it's health, happiness, and harmony for all beings.
I'm ready for that.
It really has to be designed in.
Right.
Okay? So it has to be designed in the games we're playing. It has to be designed in the systems that we are building. Because currently it is the death, disease, and destruction are designed in.
Yeah. And this leads right into the next question. So the next question is, on planet B, how will we create these systems and processes that measure against what you call the 5H values, which are honesty, humility, health, happiness, and harmony?
Yeah, basically, when you design a system or a process, you have to measure it against this 5H criteria and reject anything that doesn't pass the 5H criteria. So be very, very careful about introducing new chemicals into the environment. Everything has to be looked at from the perspective of health, happiness, and harmony. Okay? And be humble enough to say, maybe I'm wrong from what I did last time. Yeah,
Right.
and I'm willing to fix that. So this is how engineering teams work. Right? You have to have the humility to admit when you're wrong and fix it together. So I see that as a litmus test, a 5H
Mm.
values litmus test that we use for anything that we design in the future in Planet B. And
Could
we
you
have
give
to,
like an example of what like maybe a system or a process would look like that would be measured against that 5H?
So it will be like you make sure that you have adequate nutrition available to every human being on the planet. So you have to create a process for making sure that complete balanced meals are available in community centers throughout the world. You have to make sure that there's a wide variety of foods available at every center. So it's not just about meeting the desires of human beings. It's meeting their basic needs and
Right.
meeting it completely, right? So creating designs around that. So that is based on the 5H values.
That's beautiful.
So if we create a food healer system like that, so I was imagining, for instance, you can do this today. Okay? If you say that every religious institution, every temple, every church, every mosque, every synagogue is known to have healthy food for free
Right.
to anybody who comes in and eats. Okay? And it's the job of the worshippers in that temple, in that church, in that mosque, in that synagogue to make sure that that happens.
Hmm.
Right? So they donate their time, whatever it takes, because they're serving the community.
Right.
Now, if you make that healthy, universal meals, like what PCRM calls universal meals, this is the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And the universal meals have none of the common allergens, so that you know that the food you create can be eaten by almost anybody,
Right.
right? And it is whole foods, plant-based. And it has, a wide variety of vegetables and grains mixed in so that it's a complete meal,
I like the sound of that.
right? And so make universal meals freely available in every worship center. Now that is a Planet B system,
It's a wonderful program. Yeah.
right? It's a Planet B system in which you're not taking away anybody's freedom to eat whatever they want to eat. You're just making healthy food freely available to everybody.
Hmm.
You're offering them, here is my offering to you. Would you like to take it? Yeah. And so health is something that is completely within your control. Healthy food is available to you. In such a system, how can something like McDonald's survive?
I hope it doesn't.
Right? It won't, because
Yeah.
healthy food has been now subsidized to be free.
Hmm.
Right? And I'm saying healthy food should be given away for free by the community. Why? Because the community wants to see health,
Right.
is serious about health. Whereas
Yeah.
right now the community has been deceived into promoting diseases.
And in previous chapters, you actually talked about this is the bottom up approach of bringing this into existence as well.
Right,
Yeah.
right, absolutely. And it doesn't take much. I was calculating if you cook in bulk, it's the equivalent of something like less than $1 per meal per person. Any religious institution would have the resources to create that.
All right.
And you can completely turn this system around if you just started doing that. So I would say, if someone wants to be a Planet B community, if say a city wants to become a Planet B community, that's the first thing I would say that they should do from an engineering perspective, is to have community centers, whether it's religious centers or whatever. You can start your own community centers if you want, but ideally do it through existing communities already there, like religious communities,
Right.
and make it known throughout the city that you can get healthy food for free. Okay, and make that happen.
That's a very achievable step, I feel like.
Correct. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you have to cook in bulk, go cook in bulk. The largest food charity in the world is Food for Life International. I think now they call themselves Food Yoga International. And they serve billions of meals. And their meals are all whole food, plant-based.
Hmm.
And they make something called khichdi. Khichdi literally means a mixture of things. It's a mixture of a grain and a lentil. So it's basically a universal meal,
Mm.
and whatever vegetables were there that day, they chop it up and put it in the machine. So they have huge machines making this food, and it's delicious because it's got the right amount of spices, and I've gone and served it to school children, and they keep coming back for seconds.
That's wonderful.
And they're already doing that. They're already serving healthy meals to children. So it's an example that if you can serve it to children, you can serve it to anybody. And their meals, they claim, cost about 25 cents a meal
Oh, wow.
because they're cooking in
Wow.
bulk. And
Yeah.
and they take whatever vegetables are available. They even take rice that's kind of discarded by the government. The government gives them free rice, and then they go clean it.
Mm.
And it costs them very little to clean the rice. And then they use that.
That's incredible. So towards the end of the chapter, you state that health, happiness, and harmony are infinitely sustainable.
Correct.
What does that mean, Dr. Rao?
So health, happiness, and harmony, you can continue to sustain that forever. Death, disease, and destruction eventually goes down to zero, meaning you'll kill all life. Diseases, if you keep increasing diseases, at some point you won't live, you'll die. And destruction, it's a finite planet. You cannot keep destroying the planet and expect it to always come back. It's not sustainable. So I say that health, happiness, and harmony are infinitely sustainable. You can maintain that forever. If that's your goal, if that's your values that you've built into the system. So if you're looking for a sustainable system, it cannot be based on deception. It cannot be based on domination. It cannot be based on death, disease, and destruction. Impossible. See, it's impossible to tweak without changing the values.
Right.
Right? So first we have to be honest about the values, and then we have to change the values to make them compatible with sustainability. Otherwise, sustainability is not a serious exercise from a systems engineering perspective.
Right. Wonderful. So as we wrap up chapter 20, is there a final message you'd like to share with our audience today?
If you think about it, reaching to sustainability is something that we have always wanted and we always thought we were working towards. So I'm just saying, let us get serious about it. That's all.
That's a perfect message right there, Dr. Rao. So thank you all so much for joining us for episode 20. Our next episode, which will be focused on the goals transformation. So we hope you'll stay with us and join us once again. So thank you so much, Dr. Rao. Thank you so much to our audience, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Bye.
This has been a podcast from Planet B, where we finally read the Compassion Memo. If you haven't moved here yet, we thank you for visiting.
Go ahead, Brittany.
Like you were saying that religion is the first place to start if we're going to start centers. But when it comes to religion, it just doesn't seem the most open or
Yeah.
like trying or like adapting to veganism, because they seem to go really into a carnistic direction, especially with the religion that is followed. What I've seen more is the education system, although it's pretty carnistic. At least it's a little bit more open to opportunities and everything. I kind of think it's not just any one entity. I was thinking it's not about like who you're connecting with, but more like what you have. So it's like you can't just connect with someone and then not have anything to connect about. It needs to have some purpose. So do you think that is kind of the direction that we should do, is kind of build up whatever we can on our own before we present to others, and just work with those that are most receptive? Or should we
Yeah.
really seek out the religious centers, because they probably are the ones to go to, and not worry about what we do on our own if it's not enough?
Yeah, the reason I was saying religious centers, I was focusing on them, is because they're already well organized at the grassroots level. You know, about 85% of the people in the world um, subscribe to a religion. And but any community center is absolutely fine. Any place where lots of people congregate together, they could decide to do this, right? So it's uh, it's getting a community to say we are serious about solving the problem. You know, now look at the system, right? So I began with Marie Curie's quote, and when we uh, taped this episode, the drums of war in the Arctic were not that loud, right? It was a while ago. But now I'm saying, the drums are getting louder and louder, and you ask, you have to understand why that is the case. Okay? Because the system on planet A always uh, is looking for the techno fix to continue its growth. And uh, anything that causes ecological, let's say, discontinuities, like the Arctic melting, you know, it's a place where they can then figure out how are we going to dominate that. It's all about domination in the system. Who's going to dominate? How are we going to dominate that? And uh, so when you are at that ecological limits, and you're pushing the ecological limits, and you haven't found the techno fix, you do a lot of bloodletting. That's what the system does. So to me, World War I, World War II, they were all systemic. It's no matter who you had put as an actor there, it would have happened, because that's how the system works. And so, because that bloodletting is, you're destroying human infrastructure. And so and then you rebuild that, and it buys time for a techno fix to be found. So you can continue doing this for another 50 years until the next bloodletting happens. This is the kind of system that planet A is. And I'm saying, once you understand that, you say, okay, this is what they're trying to do. And then you say, excuse me, can we not do planet B? Isn't there another way? Because why, I mean, even those who are running these wars, they're all stuck in the system on planet A. And they didn't even design it. They inherited it. We all inherited these systems. So I don't mind any community center doing this. I just want to see on our app, lots of dots where free food is available. And then you can check what kind of food is available, and you can decide to go to one and eat. Okay, no matter where you are, for free. That would completely change the food system, right? And I say transforming the food system is foundational in the transformation from planet A to planet B. That I see that's the first thing that's going to turn around. So I'm not
Before
particularly
anyone,
wedded to religion.
yeah.
To me, religion is a place where people talk compassion, but they don't do it. Right? So they're talking a good game, and you can say, why don't we do it? Right? Yeah.
I'm starting to see what you're saying, because they're the first ones that have the message but without the substance. So they would probably be the ones that could use it so that it can align with what they're already doing versus
Right.
others that aren't in that direction. I had a I think I'll ask later about the technology and everything. So
All right.
I
Thank you.
got more questions, but I'll let everyone else go first.
Okay. Ram, where's Binaka?
I'm here.
Oh, you are there. Okay.
Yeah,
She's hiding.
we
She's
have
hiding.
we had a very busy day already.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah, I had a question of how we can identify the areas where there is already planet B going on in planet A. I remember when I was very lucky in my career that I was in a laboratory which was acting like planet B already. It was cooperation and there was no competition between the people. There was competition with the outer world, but not with the inside the laboratory itself.
Right.
And our boss was very good, and he didn't want to have more money than he thought we needed. All the other laboratories said, we need more money because they always cut it down. So
Right.
there must be kernels that we can use still as early adopters.
Right.
Yeah, the ideas of, but besides the churches, and, what we
Right.
can do.
Yeah. My first job was at Bell Laboratories. And I love the idea of Bell Laboratories, which is that everything you do is open source. Basically, you give it away. All the patents were given away, but they were still patenting, but they're giving it away.
Yeah.
And so because the scientists were working, they were working for the benefit of humanity. They were inventing for the benefit of humanity, not for any personal gain, not for money, And I mean, the scientists at Bell Laboratories were tremendously motivated people. So you cannot tell me that only self-interest motivates people, because I know how hard they were working, and I know what kind of inventions they came up with. We are still enjoying their inventions, right? So we have to create, those are Planet B type organizations. That's a Planet B in action when you see something like that. NGOs, people who are working to serve others. All the millions of NGOs around the world, they're all Planet B institutions. But then, the Planet A comes in and says, okay, if you want money, you have to do what I tell you. So this is where the money system is key.
Yeah.
Right. And so we need to create minimum viable experiments with alternate currencies. And I think that
every person has already in him a part B.
exactly. We already have a Planet B in us. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's about organizing around that and creating systems around that. Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to report to you that so I was watching your quote by Gus Speth, who lives about 1 mile from us.
Oh, really? Awesome.
So yeah, he lives here in the area. So I was thinking, okay, let's see if it would make sense to meet him. And so I went online and I watched a couple of the movies that were made about his work, and I saw that it was strictly all about the fossil fuel industry.
Right.
Nothing, and only once I saw somebody going into the direction of asking him a question about diet, and I think he said, "No, I don't know anything about that."
Yeah.
So much for that. He's very brave in what he believes, and he has been in prison many times and what have
Right.
you. This was an interview by a minister in one of the churches here, and they both were on the same wavelength there. But I didn't think it made any sense to meet him.
Oh, no.
Ram, on the other hand, thinks maybe we should.
We should.
Yeah.
I think you should. You're a neighbor, right?
Yeah,
You
we
can.
live very close by too.
Did you get a copy of my book, There is a Planet B? Did you get that? I
Yes,
mailed it to
thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question actually. I would like to have many more books.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Is
I
it
can.
possible?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
want to impress also my colleagues and send them a book with an explanation
Okay.
to work with my friends who so I could use maybe 20 books. I don't know.
Okay. In fact, we have books in my garage right now, and I can ask my wife to ship it to you.
Thank you very much. It would be wonderful because we
Yeah.
have also McKibben is also close to us. Michael McKibben
Oh, sure. Give it to him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will.
and
He
then we
knows
have,
me.
okay, he knows you. Okay,
He knows
okay,
me. Yeah.
interesting.
I met
And
him
we
in
have Bernie,
Paris.
and we have Bernie Sanders,
Cool.
which we also want to talk with about it.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
I
Give
think
it.
Vermont is the best state to change to a plant-based diet from an animal to
Except that fact that they have a very strong dairy industry, of course.
Correct. Which
Like
is actually perfect.
yes, I think so. Yeah,
It's perfect because dairy is the key.
yeah.
Transforming the dairy industry is key to creating Planet B.
Yeah, but what direction could they go in order to change their income, change their work, and what have you? That is not
Yeah.
up to us to figure that out, but that's what it will require, because just like the Netherlands, the farmers there are the most conservative part of the whole country right now,
Right.
because the government has told them they should shrink their output. It's dangerous. And they have become very active to protest and all of that.
Right. Yeah. We have to give them a path forward, meaning it cannot be that, we are going to, we want you to shrink and then we want you to figure it out on your own. How you're going to survive. That's not the right way to do it. You have to tell them, if you convert your dairy farm to a forest, you will be paid. You'll be paid. And, let Vermont go and borrow. I mean, why is only Trump borrowing like this?
But the people who have forests here in Vermont, they are obliged and required to sell off quite, every year a certain amount of all their trees, and then plant new trees. That is how they can financially, I think, still maintain their property. But that's how it works here in Vermont. And I don't know what they do with all of that, but they probably use it for, I don't know, for burning or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an entire system. Okay, but it begins with this food system transformation. So it'll be interesting if you can go to Gus Pett's home, knock on his door, and talk to him and give him a copy of the book.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
definitely. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell him that
And
he has been quoted in the book.
okay, very good. I can tell him that I first saw him on TV with his minister or whatever, and they were, addressing this, so I know about him as well through that. Yeah.
Okay.
I know his poetry, actually. He's a very beautiful poet also. So the books I've sold in our little bookstore
I
here
see.
in Norwich. So
Perfect.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we have created a campaign right here with you.
A plan. We have
A
a plan.
Yeah, I'll have 20 books sent to you.
Well, that's
Thank you
good. We
very
need
much.
some
Immediately.
homework. Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Barb?
Hello. it's kind of interesting that they were talking about the dairy in Vermont and all that, because when I was with AFA, we tried to do like transformation does,
Mhm.
transitioning them into a different form of agriculture. And there were about 3 farmers who were interested in it. The hang up always ended up being getting the government to agree to it, or getting the funding for it. Every once in a while it was, will the crops we're suggesting, or the mushrooms, or you can change your chicken farm to a mushroom farm, or we had all
Right.
these popular things, whether we could get the funding for it, for them to actually do it. And like I said, we kind of slowly panned out of everything, but it was fun talking to the farmers and talking to people who were interested, and all of that. So it just kind of brought back those memories. But the idea of rewilding, I think, that would be the easiest, bringing it back to what it used to be. We know those things used to grow there, so
Right.
that's really the best idea, I'm sure. Um, one of the things that I do right now, and I have done for quite a while, is we have a lot of unhoused people in our town, and they kind of hang out at Central Park. But usually I'll walk by there on the way to the post office, and any food that I have that's extra, or if I have like those little strawberry fig bars, or raspberry fig bars, and blueberry fig bars, those things, anything that's kind of good, because they really don't want candy. They really want some
Right.
good food and nutritious. And I'll just drop it off right there. There's a little bench where a lot of them sit around what's called the transfer house. And I'll just put it on the bench, and I'll just go on walking off. And I'll check from my office window a little later, and I'll be like, okay, somebody picked it up. I don't see the bag. Good, yay, But I've been doing that, my little contribution. But I started thinking about what you were saying,
Mm.
and 4-H. 4-H needs to be updated.
To
And what a good
5H.
yeah, to
Sorry.
5, yeah, planet A, planet B, 5H. Yeah. That was a good one.
Sorry, I
But
couldn't resist.
yeah. Yeah, because they already have the agriculture
Mm.
part of it, and growing things. They do things with growing seeds and all of that sometimes, and they do cooking, and they do just a lot of projects with the kids that are farm oriented. But yeah, if we could update that, or get things into there. And then I started thinking of all different kinds of things. I was like, well, the campfire girls, the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the women's clubs, rather than trying to get into some of the schools where we might be up against too much bureaucracy. I was like, maybe some of these clubs would be a way in. I don't know.
Mm.
Just an idea.
You said you said Central Park. Are you in New York City?
Oh no, oh no. Central Park here is probably less than a football field big.
Okay.
It's Decatur, Illinois.
Oh, I see. Okay. Because
Yeah,
New
but they
New
it's, they just they named it that. Yeah. Quite
because
different.
in New York City, I know of Chili's on Wheels, and
Oh
they
yeah.
they serve the homeless, and basically
Oh
give
yeah.
out healthy food for free, whole food plant-based meals.
Oh,
And
that's
so
nice.
I'd gone and served with them. And there's also uh, I forget what it's called, but anyway, it's a Hare Krishna devotees who run an Airbnb in Manhattan
Mm.
with cubicles, literally cubicles. So they have a big hall, and they put a whole bunch of cubicles in the hall where you can go and sleep.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Yeah. Yeah, some of those ideas are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had something with a new restaurant that came to our town. Our town is pretty poor, I have to say, so we don't get too much good stuff. But this happened to have 5 soups that could be veganized, and they decided to keep them all vegan, which I loved about them. They really wanted to promote things like that, but they would also do a program where it was something about like I could buy for $10 extra, I could buy a complete meal for a person who couldn't afford it, and they make it very, very discreet when that person came in, and they would just have a free meal for them. And I thought that was just so nice. Now, it wasn't always a vegan meal because, but I thought that's another avenue for maybe vegan restaurants, once they get more popular and they get more money, because, a lot of them are struggling to get this going.
Right.
Yeah.
See, those kinds of things, what happens is they are not cooking in bulk. They're cooking one at a time, right? So it's expensive to do that. Whereas what this organization was doing was they were collecting money from those who are sleeping in the cubicles. So they get $100 per cubicle per night. So they had 15 cubicles. That's $1,500 a day they're getting, right? And they use that money, all the profit from that, to buy food and cook it and give it away. So when you buy in bulk and you cook in bulk, it's like $1 a meal. Less than $1 a meal works out to be, right? So then you're able to serve at scale. And so that's why I don't like the restaurant approaches, because it's basically saying I'm going to promote the old model, by trying to do good with the old new model.
I see. Okay. Okay. All right.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Oh, interfaith retreats account. That's the one. Yes, exactly. That's the one I went to. Yeah. Joji put the link in the chat. Brittany, can I address Joji's question and then get to you? Thanks.
Yeah, I should really just be last.
No
You
problem.
already answered my question. Yeah.
I think there was somebody else before me. I think Danny probably.
Danny usually relays questions from the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So I have two questions. First one is, I hope a trivial one, but reading chapter 20 gave me the impression that in Planet B, there won't be any games or music or movies.
No. Plenty. No. There'll be plenty. It's just different kinds of games. In fact, I don't know where I did talk about this in one of the episodes. It will come later, where I said, rather than playing chess the way we play chess today, have you, heard of this mutual stalemate as the outcome in chess?
No.
So
in chess, yeah.
Mutual stalemate, meaning both of them are collaborating to make sure that both kings are stuck and no piece can move. It's a mutual stalemate, okay?
Oh, I haven't heard of that one, yeah.
Yeah. And to make it more complicated, I realized that instead of having a king and a queen, if you had a king and a king, both of them have kings, then it's becomes more complicated to get to this state. And there'll be lots of possibilities to get to this stalemate state. And so you could be exploring, different ways of getting to that state. So that's a collaborative outcome in the same game, right? So I was thinking along those lines. There'll be a lot of singing. There'll be a lot of drama. It's storytelling. Yeah, definitely. Planet B is going to be a
baseball and cricket. Yeah.
Baseball and cricket. Okay. So there's one thinking about games like that. First of all, cricket is played with the ball that's made from the skin of an animal. Okay. So we have to change that. Everything, right? In tennis, it's got fur from an animal. Badminton, it's got the feathers of
strings,
an animal. Yeah. So we have to change that. But then we have to figure out collaborative outcomes in that game. So for instance, for soccer, I was thinking, as soon as you score a goal, you're required to change your t-shirt, put on the other team's t-shirt and play for the other side. Then it's an infinite game because the teams constantly change. There is no one team. And you're playing an infinite game at that point.
So there'll be interesting, different games in Planet B.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the second question is a more serious one. And Abraham Oots and his wife's, I didn't get her name.
Beneka. Abraham
Benka,
and
yeah.
Benek.
So their talk of Guspeth,
Mm.
kind of is a segue to it. And I was thinking, since Planet B requires everybody to collaborate and come together, it might be a good idea. I don't know how this could be done. It might be a good idea to um, recruit people, like Guspeth, but I was thinking more like people who have caught worldwide attention already, like Al Gore, for example,
Right.
or Greta Thunberg, right? I
Mhm.
mean, these are people who were a face of environmentalism and climate change and all that, and I think like Guspeth, I hadn't heard of him until I read your book, and I'm surprised he doesn't know about the food solution because his quote kind of indicates that
He knows.
trying to, yeah, it close to the idea of Planet B, but so certainly he needs to be in the game, and I think people like that, who have a high profile visibility in the past. Of course, Al Gore is now busy with his venture capital firm or something, and Greta Thunberg is busy with Gaza or something. But
Right.
I think there's a possibility. So that's just more of a, thinking loud rather than a question.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, this is why I was enthusiastically pursuing with Brahm about Guspeth, because we need to get to the others through someone that they respect.
Right.
And if
Yeah.
someone like Guspeth calls on Al Gore, he will listen, right?
Mm.
He already, he knows me and he's not going to listen to me
Oh, really?
because I walked out on him, right?
Yeah, but that's a long time ago, right?
I
And
know.
he turned vegan, right? In 2013. I was looking up Al Gore all day today and Inconvenient Truth and all that. He turned vegan in 2013, and he
Right.
said he plans to stick with the rest of his life. So mindsets change over time, right?
Mindsets change. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I'll email him again. I did email
Okay.
him before the Oxford debate that happened in
Yeah.
2023. That happened because we were trying to get Al Gore and Bill McKibben to debate me and Gerard. Okay, so, and
Mm.
they didn't want to do it. So we even, we had a sponsor who was willing to put $1 million for that, and he was willing to fund the venue at the Apollo Theater. I mean, it would have been a great production, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they didn't want to debate. They didn't want to talk about it. So they
Yeah.
walked out on it. Then we did the Oxford debate. So it turned out to be much cheaper. You didn't need $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we accomplished our objective, I think.
Yeah.
So
And Al
yeah,
Gore, of course, has to think of his political affiliations, which that's why I guess he doesn't talk about veganism, even though he
right.
turned vegan almost 13 years ago. But Greta, I think, would be bolder and more courageous, for example. And I guess there are
Well,
more people.
right.
Yeah.
She's been vegan all the time ever since I've known her. So
Right.
she's,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
but she doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part. I don't know what the inner workings of her campaign are, but
Right. Right.
yeah.
I mean, she has. I mean, there are some videos in which she says, we should stop controlling nature, dominating nature, and live in
Mhm.
harmony. Uh,
Right,
but I think she has got other interests too, like Gaza right now. I think
right.
is top
But
of her mind.
see, to me, world peace and planetary health are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand. You cannot get to world peace without planetary health. You cannot get to planetary health without world peace. And basically, if you think of this collaborative project to rewild the planet, you automatically are engaged in a non-violent act together,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
you automatically get world peace. So meaning, when the objective is to restore the life support systems of the planet, we have to be peaceful within each other. It cannot be accomplished when people are fighting wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you discover that your house is on fire, and we were bickering about what happened last year. You did this to me this year, and the past
Mm.
grievances, and you were bickering about who's going to use the restroom first and whatever. And suddenly, when you discover the house is on fire, you start collaborating, and you
Mm.
go to the well, you pick up water, and you go and throw water on the fire. You become a collaborative enterprise, right, at that point, and you forget all the past differences. You're no longer interested in, at that point, you're no longer interested in who did what to whom when. And
Mm.
when you put out the fire, then it becomes the major event that united all of us,
Yeah.
right? And then you can overcome all your past grievances also. So to me, planetary health and world peace and inner peace and all of that are all together. It's one single um, problem. It's
Mm.
one single transformation.
Yeah. Hopefully, you can find somebody who can connect you with Greta Thunberg and people like that. I mean, these are the
Yeah, yeah,
two that came to mind, top of mind.
yeah. I know how to get in touch with Greta.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. But I'm writing this book, A Guide to Planet B. So where I put all these details, I'm putting all the details, and it's getting to be a pretty big book.
Mm.
And then I wanted to, send it to them with both.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you for the
Thanks.
comment.
Sure.
Brittany?
So you were talking about the techno fixes. I was
Mm.
kind of wondering if veganism and Planet B could kind of be considered technologies in a way, where those are the techno fixes to the problems of this day and age, along with all the other
Yeah,
technologies to solve some of these problems.
that's a great idea, Brittany, to repackage it as a techno fix. Oh, you're looking for a techno fix? We found one. Here. Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because the techno fix that they're looking for is one that would continue their power. I mean, I don't know. But we could say, hey, we have found a way out. So I've been invited to speak at the Vallalar Peace Conference in Chennai, February 7th through 9th. So, and it's organized by the state government of Tamil Nadu. So it's relatively high profile. So we'll see. They asked me to speak, and they asked me for the title, and I said this, it's about systems engineering for world peace.
Yeah, 'cause when I think of these techno fixes, I don't think of it as ways to perpetuate problems to keep it going without it messing up with any other part. I see it more of a way to get out of our problems.
Yeah, yeah,
Not finding ways to just perpetuate this
right.
over and over in a sustainable way. So maybe, there's different types of techno fixes. And I guess if you're going to present on it, you talk about the techno fixes that will perpetuate issues by prolonging them. And then there's the techno fixes that are the ways out of our problems.
Correct.
Because most of my life I thought about ways out of our problems. And well, Elon Musk, back when he started, he would always talk about these ways out of our problems, like EVs, Mars, all that. So, there's different types of solutions and ideas. Usually it's like someone, has to make a decision. So while it's them at the end to make that decision, they have different options. So it's like veganism is one of those options that you put in as some solution, or not like a solution, but some idea for their direction that they would choose from among a list of others.
Yeah,
So it's like you would just insert it in as some option, but then you'd have to make sure it's probably the best option that they choose or the one that they want. But yeah, I kind of consider it like technologies, because ideas are in a way like technology, where it's some sort of advancement. Yeah, so you're kind of seeing it too, right?
Right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Rebecca?
Hello, Dr. Rao. I just wanted to know if you could, if I'm thinking along the same lines as you, about all the salespeople that are selling people things, and it's a little bit of deception if they can talk you into stuff. I mean, there's cold calls, there's all this about talking people into things. Isn't that,
Right.
Yeah.
That's part of the same deception. Everybody's trying to get the money out of you somehow, right? So lots of people have been sending messages about, oh, I got scammed out of $500,000 or whatever from my bank because they told me that the IRS is after me or whatever, And so there's all these scams that people use to get that's the same deception.
Okay. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. It's a great session.
Thank you. Thank you again for an exhilarating session. And please come back tomorrow for 21.
You. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The house is burning, but we're still sitting in the glow. Phones charged, lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metafudians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the The house is burning, but we're still sitting in the glow. Phones charged, lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and again. The earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire. Ooh, put out the fire. Metafoodians rise. This is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk. Dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane. Fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air. Every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire. Put out the fire. Echoes and rise. This is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt. Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire. Put out the fire. Metafoodians unite. This is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction. Not pressure, but protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire. Ooh, put out the fire. Echoes and rise. This is your hour. Metafoodians unite. Metafoodians ignite. Sharing love in the meta zone. Light in the path to a cooler home. Put out the fire. Ooh, put out the fire. Together we rise. Together we